Thanks for tuning in and welcome to another episode of the SRS Weekly Podcast. I'm Michael Farino.
And I'm Michael Bingham.
Well, let's start things off here with a little bit of sad news, unfortunately. Yeah. Earlier this week, Dr. Fritz Sennheiser from Sennheiser Corporation passed away. He was a huge influence on audio technology with innovations such as the shotgun microphone and his headphones. Really, I can't. I have tons of Sennheiser headphones. And
the company, of course, they've produced some fantastic products over the years, and he has been, like Michael said, a pioneer in our industry. And his passing is truly sad news. And he died he lived a long and full life. He was 98 years old when he passed, and I think all of us to even live a fraction of that would be considered lucky. So
absolutely. So a little bit of history of Sennheiser. Basically, Fritz Sennheiser started the company back in post World War II Germany, where he basically started selling audio equipment from an abandoned World War II warehouse. There he was making voltmeters and whatnot from spare parts, and developing audio technologies and this and that eventually turned them into a force to be reckoned with in the audio industry.
Yeah.
So
a brilliant man, and we
sad to see him go.
So then moving on.
Yeah, moving on to headphones and audio.
Yes.
I think this is an extremely fascinating product.
Mm-hmm. Psyko. Yeah, thank you very much. Psyko Audio. Psyko Audio is a they recently announced, or they're now shipping in mass, their 5.1 headphone system. When I say 5.1, we're not talking about virtual surround sound systems. We're talking about literally 5 speakers on your headphones plus subwoofer. It's a very unique setup.
It's the way it's set up. It's kind of strange because, for years now, even us at SRS, we have a headphone technology that uses normal headphones and is able to produce a very realistic surround sound experience from them. But these people kind of take that and do it backwards.
Yeah.
Where instead of making headphones produce surround sound, they're making surround sound headphones.
Yeah.
It sounds the same, but let me explain the difference. Like you said, there's subwoofers and then there's the speakers. But the way it's laid out is, it looks like it's kind of designed as a standard headphone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the left cup, the right cup, and they're the subwoofer part. That's the 0.1, the .1 or the 5.1. But above the headphones, up here, where you normally have the headphone headband, whatever you call that, there's 5 speakers. You have your right surround, your left surround, your right front, left front, and your center on your head.
It's a unique setup. Go ahead and check out the pictures. You can go to Google Psyko Audio, and you can see the pictures for yourself. It's really an interesting setup. I mean, it looks like it's PC speakers that have been rigged to be around your head, I don't know if it's contained or not. So sitting your neighbor next to you will be able to hear your entire gaming experience. There's a lot to it as well. There's an amp that you have to plug in, so it's not a plug and play system, but very interesting. Retailing the price, I believe, according to the websites that we visited, almost $299.
It's about $299. I gotta tell you, I'd love to get my hands on these just to try them out. I think it'd be very interesting to see.
It'd be killer.
But if you're a gamer, check them out. They look pretty cool. But I don't know how, we'll see how they work.
And there's been a significant breakthrough in the terms of optical storage.
Yeah, and here we thought that, my opinion is still this, and it won't change. But, optical storage, physical media is dead.
Yeah. It's
dead. Streaming, cloud computing is the future, and I still believe that it very well will be. But I think this is incredible, for those who don't necessarily want to adopt, cloud computing and whatnot, but scientists have discovered that the standard DVD can basically be improved storage-wise by 1,000 times.
1,000 times. So the current storage capacity of a DVD, about 4.7 gigabytes?
Yeah, exactly, it's 4.7 gigs. Scientists are now saying that with a titanium oxide coating, and I guess in part due to the way that it reacts with light, would be able to provide 1,000% or 1,000 time, I guess, an increase of 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So you'd be able to store not just 5 gigs on a disk, but 5 terabytes.
5 terabytes of space. That is incredible to think about. That much storage on a single disk.
That's more than every hard drive I own combined.
That would be thousands of hours of music, hundreds of thousands of books. I mean, the amount of storage on a single disk would be phenomenal.
5 terabytes, I imagine you could do millions.
Millions
of everything.
It reminds me of science fiction, something you see on Star Trek, where they pull out a disk and stick it in a slot, and you'd have all sorts of a wealth of information. Incredible. If the technology works, if they can get it to fruition, bring it to market, it'd be incredible. Especially since it'd be actually cheaper.
Yeah, it's actually it's cheaper to make titanium oxide coating than whatever the coating is they're using for Blu-ray discs. So I think this is absolutely fascinating, and it kind of coincides with what we're seeing here in terms of the trends of the market in video. That 3D is really set to. It's just positioned to take over and be a huge phenomenon, like of 2010 era.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point, because you're right, guys. With Blu-ray and the size of the files and the amount of information that they're now putting on these discs, you'd be able to stick anything on there without even the worry about having enough space to do it. So the creative freedom that would come to filmmakers thinking about when they're thinking forward to the DVD or the Blu-ray release would be tremendous.
Absolutely, and who knows? We think that high def's 1080p now. That may double, triple, quadruple. And if movies are being rendered in quadruple HD, whatever that is, those discs would easily provide the space.
So the technology's there. The future technology we've just seen it, seen a peek of the future. So pretty awesome there.
Yeah, it's fantastic news. Huge breakthrough.
And then moving forward to some other cool news, HP, which you purchased PALM just a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so. An HP executive confirmed that the PALM WebOS will be used in their upcoming Slate tablet.
Yeah, and I think this is fascinating, and it's actually very good news, though I wish it were more timely. But it's a great strategy for them, because at CES when we were there in January, we saw the initial Slate, and all it really was a Windows 7 based PC sans a keyboard. With that said, Apple launched the iPad in what was it, 2 months ago? Month ago?
About a month ago.
And I think we're really beginning to see the benefit of a dedicated operating system that's not overly complicated.
No.
People that are in the market to buy a Slate product don't seem to be in the market for anything super confusing or as intricate as a PC.
Yeah.
They want something that they could check their email on and use for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
No,
and I think that you're right. When you think of touch, when you touch anything, you don't want it to be overly complex. So the idea of just swipe, touch, you're at your destination. That's what people want. They don't want any more than that.
Yeah.
And when you throw, whether it's Linux or Windows 7 or whatever it is, when you throw those traditional operating systems on a touch device, you're adding a layer of complexity that is frankly unneeded.
Would the iPad have been successful had they put OS 10 on there?
I don't think so. No. I think people looked at it and go, this sucks. This isn't good.
I think that HP's on the right track. They saw what made iPad popular, and they're going to try to trump them.
Yeah.
And backing WebOS, which is PALM's operating system, is a good choice, because PALM's been around for a very long time, and I think they've worked pretty much any, if not all, the bugs out of the software by now. Yeah,
and they made a lot of strides with that operating system in their mobile handset. So of course it'll take some time. We don't know how long. We don't have any inside information on that, but they at least have the framework in place for a useful operating system for the touch based computing experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't know when this will be announced, but I'm very excited to see this, and I can promise you that when it does launch, you'll see one in my hands, and we will do an in-depth review of it.
For sure.
Other than that, I think that concludes this week's podcast.
Yeah, thanks for joining, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, tune in next week. That's it.
See ya.
See ya.